the old rototiller cable, throttle cable, which does not throttle. And this is the new one that just came in. Squeaky, squeaky, squeaky.
Hey everyone, it's Britt here from Green Bee Flowers, and I just want to start this video by saying it is amazing how much can change in just 1 week. It has warmed up here to like a normal temperature. It was 20 degrees Celsius at the farm today, and I'm out here now as it's kind of later in the afternoon to get some picking done, to check on the tulips. And I wanted to show you guys some of the changes that have happened since we were out here last week. I'm very excited, so let's get into this video. Expecting rain tomorrow, which is great. We are about 5 days out from Good Friday here in small town Southwestern Ontario, and it's great as I pop out here to the tulips and the spring bulbs to see that there is so much more life in these. I was genuinely really worried that we weren't going to get a harvest off of any of our tulips before Easter, but I'm really grateful to say that we have flowers. So let's get in, let's harvest some of the first tulips of the outdoor flower field season. I'm so pumped, guys. Oh, yay. It's really windy outside, guys. However, I did want to show you, so there's a few tulips here. right behind me down here. You can see the tips of them are just starting to color up. I'm gonna give these probably another day or 2 days yet before we pick these, but they will be coming to the to the shop for Easter. And I cannot tell you how grateful I am that they came through. Despite all of the cold and despite all of the gray, we finally are at a point where tulips are coming back on schedule. I do have some purple ones though that are always the first tulips every single year that we get, so we're gonna get those picked and then we're gonna pop over into the hyacinth patch because there's a lot of those that are ready to come out of the ground as well. Now I am always intentionally grabbing tulips, especially singles, when the buds look like this. So they're just starting to pop out, they're just colored up. We want to give singles especially the longest life. So when we're giving these to the wholesaler, we always get them just right here. So they'll open and color up for the florist. Normally we also harvest them with the bulb attached, although sometimes they snap and you get the extra little babies. Either way, these guys are gonna go in the crate, and they're purple and they're beautiful. This variety is called Light and Dreamy, so it opens up into a really beautiful like lavender purple, even though the buds on it are quite dark. I love when this variety starts showing up in the field because it really is truly the signifier that the farm is about to get really crazy very quickly. I'm gonna blow away. We're just gonna time lapse this part. Look at the stem length on this guy. Seriously though, like field grown hyacinths are so much taller than crate grown. Like, look at how tall these are. I mean, like, okay, so like I'm sitting, right? That's insane. Now, thank goodness it's Easter this week. I've got a lot of purple hyacinths. So we're gonna get these picked and we're gonna sell them all. I have faith. There's a lot. Like, they have such good stem length on them this year. Maybe all those gray days were for naught, to quote Samwise Gamgee. into the store cooler. They're going to be headed out to a variety of different places. Now Nick is cleaning off the purple ones. Oh, I see what we use the tractor for.
Tractor accessory.
One. Two. Three. I will say this, specialty narcissus smell so good. Like, almost like a sweet licorice smell. These guys are stunning. Look at them. All right, so now that the windy outside stuff is done, I'm going to get started on greenhouse picking. We're going to start with the anemones and then move over to getting some of the last stems of the winter planting of Ranunculus. We're right in between successions of those right now, falling down. So there won't be as many of those to pick, but the anemones, you can tell there's quite a few back there. So I'm gonna start there, then I'll show you what I grab. All right, so it's the time of year, but there are still like a lot of aphids. I mean, a lot is relative. This isn't as bad of an infestation, I think, as it could be. So we have added lacewings and then a certain type of like crawling mite to the greenhouse as well. And we have another round of lacewings coming in this week on top of the ladybugs to help deal with the pressure of the aphids in here. So I strongly recommend that if you are greenhouse growing and you are doing things as organically as possible, look into beneficials, get set up with like your local horticultural company. We deal with a company called Global Horticulture, so their rep comes out, has a look at what we've got going on, and has made a bunch of recommendations so that we have just an actionable plan for preventing pests in the greenhouse, because these guys can get out of control really quickly and they're gross. I'll never get sick of anemones. They're just so pretty. Now, like I said, I knew the Ranunculus harvest was going to be small. These guys are getting littler. Stems are kind of, they're fine. But I will say this, between the Ranunculus and the anemones, I definitely favor the anemones for blooms. And I'm gonna show you why. So on this side, kind of behind me here, those are the Ranunculus that we planted back in November, December, the first succession that we wanted for early spring. And they did well enough. It was a great experiment for us. There's some things I'd change, I think, if I was to do it again, but they're pretty much done now. They've really kind of had their life. They've put out their like 3 to 4 stems of flowers, and they're really just ready to go dormant now again for the season, and they won't re-sprout fresh growth and put out more flowers. So the reality is that we can dig these up and turn this bed over for something else. However, if we have a look over on the other side where the anemones are, you can see that those are lush, they're full, they're still budding up, they're putting out fresh growth from the bottom, and that makes them just a better crop, in my opinion, as far as growing early spring flowers. I have to invest a lot less into them than I do for Ranunculus. And while they are, like, Ranunculus are absolutely stunning, I do think that if you have to make the choice as a new grower or a small grower between a Ranunculus and an anemone, I would recommend anemones. They're a great way to kind of wet your whistle into spring corms, but you're gonna get a much longer growing season from them. We love Ranunculus, right? They're beautiful. They produce some of the most gorgeous flowers that exist, but they're incredibly high maintenance and they don't give you a long harvest window or in a long harvest season. When they're done, they're done. So I just wanted to introduce Laura. So Laura is, she's gonna wave. She's actually really chatty. Laura is the homeowner of the place where we rent here for the flower farm. And I just wanted to show you her then, just because
actually exist.
She actually exists. We talk about the homeowners a lot on the YouTube channel, and I just wanted to put a face to the name. Laura, can you tell me a little bit about what the farm, having a flower farm on your property is like for you?
Well, I have 4.5 acres of lawn and gardens myself, and Brittany and I met just before COVID. And during COVID, we were looking at finding ways of supporting small business through, trying to stay afloat, never mind expand. And we used to own a vegetable market, and we found that during COVID, people were very, very kind to local farmers. So we invited Brittany and Nick over to grow some flowers on the farm. It's awesome to be able to drive through here in the evening when we finish work and just see all the color, which is just so much fun.
Yeah, we love it.
And we just pick each other's brains. I was a small business owner as well, and it's kind of cool. We've actually learned a lot of things and taught each other stuff.
Yeah, I would say that that's very accurate. I think that it's so important to have mentors when you're in the farming world, and I think it's even more important to have mentors, especially female mentors in the industry, because flower farming, any type of farming, is a lot of work. It takes away a lot from your family, and it takes away a lot from just the availability that you have to do a lot of other things. And farming really impacts relationships that you have, because when farming season happens, you gotta be there, right?
And that's just it. Mother Nature is your boss, nobody else is. So it's 24/7, and you manage what Mother Nature throws at you.
Yeah. So we're so appreciative, and I just really wanted to introduce Laura because she's a huge reason behind our success, and we're grateful for both her and Tony every single day.
And the coolest thing is I get occasional freebies for my kitchen table, which is a lot of fun too.
We're very grateful. Thanks, Laura.
Thank you.
Okay, fam, we are now a couple days out from Easter. I think it's Wednesday. I don't know. The days are all starting to run together. So I'm going to put time lapse on so you can see the bouquets that we're making. And we've got some really cool stuff. So all those hyacinths that I picked, the daffodils, we've got greenhouse ranunculus and anemones, and as well I brought in some tulips here from Caroline over at Longwoods Flower Farm, who's one of our flower besties. So we're putting together some really beautiful stuff, getting everybody's orders together for Easter. So I'm just gonna throw things on a time lapse so that you can see all of the crazy that we've got going on. My goal today is to get this back fridge here just chocked full of bouquets for grab and go for the weekend. We're gonna be doing $25 bouquets that are gonna include hyacinth and tulips and some extra little fun blooms. What's your budget at? So these stunning bunches that we're doing, I've got a few different recipes. available. These are going to be 25. So we have 3 hyacinth, 3 tulip, and then either 5 daffodils or 2 ranunculus or 3 anemones. So they're all kind of the same base recipe, which I'm pumped about these. And I've got them kind of like priced out accurately so that we're actually, you know, making money on them, which I think is important. We've added labeling this year so that people know what flowers are ours, what bouquets have flowers that are ours. And I will say this Easter, I've definitely noticed that people are ordering Ontario flowers. They're just paying a lot of attention to what we have available. And like I did a whole bunch of really stunning offerings that have things with roses and Easter lilies and stuff like that. Nope, everybody wants Ontario grown bunches. So Ashley is busy back there working on like a whole bunch of vase arrangement orders, most of which are filled with Ontario grown blooms, which is really exciting. And I'm working on getting Easter prep ready to go because tomorrow's Thursday and then it's Good Friday when we'll be closed and Saturday we'll be open again. Spring is just, it really, like Easter for us really is like the signifier that like the season is ready to start. And I'm so grateful because I think over at least the last couple of years, you know, so this is our second year open, our third Easter, right? We opened right before Easter back in 2023. And I feel like the community that is here is finally like understood what it is that we're doing. And that's kind of exciting. And there's a demand for our flowers. Like, I don't think I would have planted as many hyacinths as I did, you know, 3 years ago even. Whereas now, like, they're really all of these bouquets are just really being sought after and scooped up and blessing other people's homes. So I'm very pumped for that. Anyways, on to the next recipe. Nick just brought us a whole bunch of flowers from the farm, so I got to get processing those. So many tulips started, which is great because I did not think that we would have tulips after last week. All right, so it's Monday after Easter, and it was a weekend. We ended up doing about between the website, between the shops. So Thursday at the shop we were closed. Good Friday we were closed. Easter Sunday. So Thursday at the shop, we did about I think $1,200 in sales at the store, which was great. A lot of that was walk-in traffic. It wasn't pre-orders. On like the Saturday of Easter weekend, we did $1,500, and that was all walk-ins. Most of that was tulip bunches, hyacinth bunches, and the market mixed bunches that I made there. I've got like maybe 7 or 8 of those left. So really great that route. We also were selling the mason jar arrangements by the box full. People were coming in and grabbing like 3 to 4 of those, which is normally what we see this time of year, especially for Easter and then also for Mother's Day. People just grab them for all of the different dinners and gatherings that they have to go to. And then we also did about, I think I counted for about $1,400 on the website, specifically for Easter flowers as well. So overall, compared to last year, we did increase sales by about 20%, which I'm grateful for. I think this year I'm finally starting to see our customers and just generally customers understanding what we do at the shop. Whereas like we're seeing more of a request for our own flowers and for local flowers. And so like on my end, I think bringing in the flowers, the tulips from Longwoods Flower Farm was a great decision. Really, really pleased with that. Caroline grows great stuff, and they were greenhouse tulips. So it was just, they were ready a little earlier than ours. And actually today we zipped out to the farm. Now I didn't take footage of it because it was like 60-kilometer winds outside. The tripod wasn't going to stay up. But we did get out to the farm and we did manage to pick probably about 400 to 500 tulips today, most of which are singles. And the reason we did that is because I'm actually going to be prepping those for the wholesaler tomorrow. So they're taking 40 to 50 bunches of single tulips. So it's harvesting season now. It's incredible to me how much everything changes on the farm in a week in the spring. And I probably will end up having to do another farm tour in probably like before the end of the month. So within the next week, because so much has changed. Everything has greened up. There's brand new growth. We're starting to see peonies come out of the ground. And, all the hyacinths are now dug up and done, which is wild because last year they were kind of, they lasted about a week to two, or like they lasted about 2 weeks that we were kind of continuously harvesting those. And this year within a week, they were just all dug up and done. Cooler is turned on now for the season, which is exciting. And we've moved bays in there. So there's lots of fun stuff to keep you updated on in the next video. But for now, thank you for following us along on the Easter week. It's crazy to me how fast holidays always go, how much I forget to take footage when we're busy. But I do hope that you enjoyed this. Of course, hit the like button, subscribe, comment if you have any questions, and we will see you in the next video. Thanks so much, guys. Bye-bye.